All right, I'm going to move on to the next comment. This one is, I hear it a lot, at least on social media. I don't really run into this comment in real life, but this one is pretty controversial. And Eric Miller 2514, his comment was, starts with an honest question, which I don't believe this is a very honest question, but do you now believe that it's virtuous to have sex with 9-year-old children? This you asked two questions. That's his first one. His second one was, do any Muslims in the comments aspire to such aforementioned pedophilia? These are his two questions. So again, this is very controversial subject, and I'm going to answer it like this. So just for data's sake, Isabella of France, she lived from 1389 to 1409. She's the oldest daughter of King Charles V. She was not quite 7 years old when she married Richard II as a second wife in 1396. So here's just other references of quote-unquote marriage from people from other religions, other races, other cultures, happening at that same. Not that it's common, but it does happen. And what I'm going to touch on here is you got to think of the socioeconomic, essentially the times that people live in here, because a lot of these questions are taken out of context, because they're asking if it's okay to have sex with 9-year-old children. I definitely do not think so. But apparently, when you get down to marriage, because I believe it was he married someone who was of young age. I think they're referencing Muhammad marrying someone at a young age. It was
he was commitment at 6 years old, but he married at 9.
Okay, yes. So I think this is what this question is they're commenting on that. So I'm going to give that, especially in the times we live in, it's definitely not okay to have sex with 9-year-old children. That's very clear. I'm pretty sure Eric believes it's clear. Otherwise, he's a sick individual. But getting to more related to about the times of things, life expectancy varied by social class at that time. The average life expectancy for men, and this is in ducal families in England between 1330 and 1479, was only 24 years old. So if you look at it in terms of ratios, someone getting married at a young age when they only lived to 24, say someone is 12, that's half their life. It would be like us getting married at 40 to 50. So I'm not saying that any of this is okay, especially in the times that we live in, but when the average lifespan is only 24 years, you can see how heavily things are tied to the societal norms of that time. And again, this being a very loaded question, both of them, because he asks about, do you think any Muslims in the comments aspire to such, to pedophilia? Again, it's just completely off the wall comment, because I'm pretty sure anyone in their right mind who's interested in building any society is not for that. But if you want to get to the real core issue that's going on here, as I'm starting to question Eric's not just ability to fight things, but maybe where his brain at, because if you look at what's going on today, there's a 30% increase in pedophilia cases as compared to 2023. So it's on the rise just from last year. And approximately 70% of these cases, they happen from they know the individuals. The victim knows the individuals. So really it's a pretty twisted thing that's going on. And the use of online platforms, which are significant avenues for these offenses, are on a 50% rise of the digital exploitation as well too. So to me, pedophilia is a major problem. So I don't think anyone's agreeing. And this guy wants to start blaming things on something. He's referencing something that's thousands of years old. So if anything, he's probably promoting pedophilia, not talking against it right now. Because if he was talking against it, he would talk about now. He would be living in the now, not in the past. As also, if in a survey of children aged 10 to 15, 35% of them reported being victims on either the internet for harassment or unwanted sexual solicitation. So this is a real problem right now for 10 to 15-year-olds. So if you have a daughter, if you have a son, they're going to be dealing with this. So this guy's got to really, I'm just going to say, get his head out of his butt, because he doesn't know what is really going on, at least in the real world, or he's not focusing on any real world problems right now. Because really, you want to look at the victims of child trafficking. They're typically the ages of 12 to 14. So this is something that's going on right now. And the source of this is forced due to labor, physical abuse, commercial sex acts, brothels, and criminal activity, etc. So this is pretty, it's pretty bad stuff, And what's interesting too, if you look at marriage in undeveloped, this is current today. If you look at marriage in undeveloped countries, it's often characterized. It's characterized by early marriage and child marriage, which is a human rights violation. So you got to see that this is happening in poor countries, undeveloped countries. This isn't something happening where people are having money or something like that, in a normal, not a normal society, but you can understand about the, it's heavily tied to money. So, if, again, I'm going to go back to, if Eric really wanted to do something about pedophilia, he would stop exposing prophets from the past and focus on the here and now. You can see my examples above are many factors which cause the atrocity, but you can see that it's heavily tied to income equality. So if you fix income equality, empower your community and those around you and educate them in the fundamentals of the Quran to help build strong morals, discipline, and help them achieve their personal success. So whatever this guy is doing, it's complete opposite of what's going on in Islam. And I'm really questioning his character for even going at these comments right now, because really he should be fighting this stuff on not only on the local level, but at the global level. I'm sorry, but this is something that, to go off on that comment, this is something that, is completely wrong at the global level. I'm sorry, but this is something that, to go off on that comment, this is something that, is completely wrong. So this is the reason I went, right at Eric, because it's pretty messed up. I don't know if you want to touch on these questions as to Ali.
Yeah, I will say that this is very, very attacking questions to you, because they know that you just reverted to Islam, so they try to distract you. So this is like, I think this is not very important to answer that you should answer, because this is historical. So if they want to know the history. So there are lots of historical evidence about it enough. If they read the story of the Muhammad, then how he married with his wife Aisha radiallahu anhu, then that time when her age was 6, that time the both family, they committed that they will be married. They will be married with the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But at the age of the 9, when Aisha radiallahu anhu's age is 9, that time he married with Aisha radiallahu anhu. And if you see the history on this time, he was Aisha radiallahu anhu, she was completely biologically fit for the marriage that time. And that time was culture and tradition was like this. 9 years is very, very common. Anyone can marry to any girl at 9 years old. So even she was agree, their family was agree. If you see the history, you will never nothing find about this. Then Muhammad forcefully made married with Aisha. So I will suggest to read the history. Even if you read the US history, if you go back like 60 or 100 years back, you can see the legal age married. Then I saw one in Maryland, that was the legal marriage. It was 7 years old. So how could was it possible? I don't know. But that there is you will find evidence if you search about Maryland and so many states. Also there was like 9, 10, 12. That was the legal age marriage. So so if nobody cannot say that he made mistake like this. So even this marriage was with the God permission. But if I say that they will may not believe. So I will tell them that they should follow the history, and through history they will find the answer. And thank you.
Thanks for that answer. All right. Let's.
Assalamu alaikum. Here I would like to add something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he not only married to a 9 years old girl, no, he married to a 40 years old lady too. He married to a widow too, and he treated all his wives politely, very nicely, and because he married to all the women in to fulfill the will of God, and he didn't mistreated his wife. He didn't mistreated his 9-year-old wife. He didn't mistreated his 40 years old wife. He didn't mistreated a widow. So you cannot, the commentator, you cannot associate the child abuse or with the marriage of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He lived a happy married life, and even he set this example for us. And even the Muslims still are there, just fail to fulfill the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because he was too kind to his wives, too kind to his wife. Nobody can do the same as he did. As Jason is a reverted Muslim, that's why it's quite difficult for him to answer these kind of questions, because he is unaware of the history. But Muslims, I think, should participate in this regard.